Megan Alexander, who is a national news correspondent, host, MC, speaker, producer, and actress. She can be seen every evening as a correspondent on the top-rated national news magazine television show Inside Edition. She was born and raised in Seattle and splits her time now between Nashville and New York. So she's going to talk about her wonderful children's book. It's called One More Hug. And as I've told her like a million times, every night now, my son says to me, because of the book, one more hug. So, hi.
Hi, Zibby.
Hi, Megan. How are you?
Oh my gosh, I've been loving all these interviews. Thank you so much for doing this. My heart goes out to Emily. I'm going to go buy her book. Love Carla's tips. This is such an extraordinary time. I'm loving hearing all these stories. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for all your little thumbs up along the way.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Tell us about One More Hug, which I think of you, I know I tell you this a lot, but like literally every night we are like quoting from your book now. So I would love you to read this, and I'm going to post this after this, like tomorrow we'll post it up so people can hear you reading your book. But tell us about writing the book and then read a little bit for us.
You bet. Well, the book, which is right here, One More Hug, came out this past fall in October. And it's just been a personal story and a personal journey between me and my oldest son, Chase. And Zibby, you've heard me tell this story before. I had an idea for a couple of children's books. You know, I'd been brainstorming about a couple of different things. And when I met with my publisher at Simon & Schuster, they listened to my ideas and they were very polite. And then the talented editors and publishers that they are, shout out to Karen Nagel and Mara Anastas. They're amazing. They said, okay, well, Megan, tell us about your life. What's going on in your family? How is life? And I started telling them that my oldest son, Chase, a couple of years ago, when he first got on the school bus in kindergarten, just had real anxiety. And he'd get in line for the school bus, and then he'd run back to me for one more hug. Get in line for the school bus, run back to me. Pretty soon he was the last kid in line. As those doors were squeaking shut, he'd look back at me and just want one more hug. And it became a moment between us every single day as he went to school. And at first, I'm kind of hurrying him along, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we got to get going. We got to be punctual. And then my husband and I just sort of thought, oh my gosh, this is a moment. Like, we need to cherish these hugs. We need to slow down. I started sharing it with some other parents, and they said, your son is communicating his need for comfort and reassurance. And it became a little saying with us where my son would run back and say, one more hug, Mama. And my husband and I say, there's always time for one more hug. And so I shared that story with my publisher, and they just said, that's your book. That is your book, Megan, One More Hug. And Zibby, you know this, like when it's meant to happen, it just comes out. And the words just came out on paper. The idea, took shape, took off. And it was just a joy to put this book together. And it's my hope that, it can communicate to all parents that those little requests for reassurance are so important. All my kids, I have three, a baby, a 4-year-old, and an 8-year-old. They all want one more hug. It's all a saying that we have in our family. And especially being a mom of 2 boys, I really want people to think about as little boys, taking advantage of those moments to get our little boys to be open to expressing their feelings. And, there's just a hope that that will continue as they grow up, and maybe making time right now will allow them to open up as older men, because ultimately, doesn't that make the best boyfriends and husbands one day if guys are free and confident to express their feelings? So that's One More Hug and how it all came about. And the incredibly talented, oh my gosh, the illustrations by Hiro Nakata are just incredible. She sent me her sketches, and I just absolutely love what she did. So thank you, Hiro Nakata, the illustrator.
Oh, I love that story. It's so great. Would you read, and then we can show this to some kids later?
Would love to. Okay, you tell me if you can see good. So
I can.
This is One More Hug. Megan Alexander, illustrated by Hiro Nakata. Alrighty. Here we go. One night at bedtime, you put on your superhero pajamas, and I tucked you in. And that is really my life too. That is my son. We have a dog, like things are everywhere. A lot of parents can relate to the messiness. Then a branch tapped on your window, and you called, one more hug, Mama. One day you slayed a leaf dragon with a make-believe sword, and I kissed your cheek. Then your sword broke in two, and you cried, "One more kiss, Mama." One morning you waited for the school bus with your monster backpack, and I squeezed you tight. Then the bus doors opened with a loud screech, and you whispered, "One more squeeze, Mama." And I waved as the bus drove away, down, down, down the street, and you waved back. And the years flew by, and you grew bigger and wiser and stronger. Before long, you outgrew your superhero pajamas, and you climbed the tree outside your bedroom window. And before long, you put away your make-believe sword, and you rode your bike without any help. And before long, you left your monster backpack in the closet, and you raced to the bus stop with your friends. But even though you were older, you were still my boy, and you asked for one more hug before your big performance. One more kiss after you slipped on the ice. One more song before bedtime. And the years flew by, and you grew bigger and wiser and stronger. And before long, you stopped climbing the tree outside your window and learned how to climb a rock wall and taught your little brother how to ride your bike and joined the track team and ran all the way to school. Until one day I waved as you drove away, down, down, down the street, and you waved back. And I closed my eyes and I wondered if you knew how proud you made me, if you knew how much I loved you, if you knew you were still my boy now and forever, and if you knew that I would always be here for you. But then you surprised me, and you wrapped your arms around me and asked for one more hug. I've read that a million times, Zibby, and I
know. The whole time you were reading it, I was saying to myself, I'm not going to cry. I've read this before. I'm not going to cry this time. Thank you.
I know. Oh my gosh, my mom and I both, like my mom will tell me, I just read it again. I'm like, me too, I wrote it, and I cry.
Oh my gosh. Well, I just love it, and I love the message behind it, and how sweet it is, and the whole, like, everybody growing up, and oh my gosh. Anyway, and I feel like particularly now, like, what else can we do but hug our kids? And like, if we're stuck in home, like, what else is there? I don't know. Just like, the world is terrifying, and I don't know. There's just not much else.
I know. Just the little reassurances more than ever are so important. I mean, I'm sure you sense this too. Like, we try not to talk about it too much with our kids, but they're picking up on things. Kids are so smart. They're so observant. And, you know, they're asking for a few more hugs, a few more reassurances. My boys are sleeping in our bedroom every night. Just, kids are sensing it. So give them those hugs.
I need one more hug. It's not even for the kids. Like, come on over here. Like, give me one more hug. So
I totally agree. I know. I know. So precious times. You're hanging okay on the Upper East Side?
We're out on Long Island now. We got out of the city. So but yeah, hanging in there. So.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for reading.
Really appreciate it.
Well, hang in there, and thanks for reading. Bye.
Thank you, Zibby. Bye.